What's up, witches? Today we're going to do a paranormal story time on my super haunted high school that was built on a cemetery. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video if you enjoyed it. So Springfield High School was built in the early 1900s. I went there in 2010, going into sophomore year. Just from the very beginning, people were like, yeah, this high school is haunted. It's haunted. It's haunted. The ghost name is Rachel. And everybody was just kind of accepting of it, like, yep, it's haunted. And I was just kind of like, okay. But during the day with so many people, and, I think there was like maybe a couple thousand people in this big building, it's hard to kind of sense those things. When I was first told about Rachel, a cabinet in an art class opened up by itself behind me. But I did start to notice some weird things. I was in environmental club, so it was when less people would be around, we would be collecting the recycling, and I would get more kind of eerie feelings. So before Springfield High School was Springfield High School, it was Hutchinson Cemetery, a private cemetery, and actually Abraham Lincoln's son was buried there. So there were about 700 people buried in that plot of land. A new city, yada yada, laws, Springfield's expanding, so you can't have a cemetery in that area anymore. And then they said that they moved most of the 700 bodies, and people think that there's maybe about 150 still there because it costs money for the families to pay to move the body. But I'm 99% sure that Abraham Lincoln's son's family had enough cash money, so don't worry. So anyway, nobody wanted to buy an old cemetery. It became a park. Some time went by. They're like, oh, people are going to forget. And then they decided to build Springfield High School on it in the 1900s. And what's super weird is that in the front of Springfield High School, there's a historic kind of landmark sign. And on one side, it says Springfield High School, historic Springfield High School. On the other side, it says Hutchinson Cemetery. In the 1970s, Springfield High School underwent some renovations, and they dug an elevator shaft. While they were digging in the elevator shaft, they found a headstone that they initially thought was a piece of rock, and it says, "Our daughter, cut down but never destroyed," but there's no name on it. Now, after finding this headstone, spiritual activity really started to ramp up in Springfield High School. There have been encounters with teachers and especially the nighttime janitors. And then that's when they started to call it Rachel, the nighttime janitor, and all the kids caught on and just started calling this person Rachel. And the elevator is so haunted, and I've experienced this numerous times. You don't even have to walk up to the elevator. You don't even have to push the button. When you walk up, it'll just open for you, and students will say, "Thanks, Rachel." I missed a lot of school senior year of high school, so they didn't want me to get yesterday's answers, so I spent a lot of time out in the hallway. And if I was ever in front of the elevator, it would open, close constantly, and I had to literally move a few feet down away from the entrance of the elevator to get it to stop opening and closing for me. So I actually lived a block away, literally across the street from this high school my senior year, and because I missed so much school, I often forgot books, and I wanted to catch up on homework so I could still graduate. So I would just kind of walk over to the school around 9:30 or 10 at night and knock on the door, and the nighttime janitor would answer, and I just said I forgot a book, and he would let me in so many times. The nighttime janitor is the one that called the spirit Rachel because he said she looks like a Rachel. And he is too afraid to go up the elevator because he has seen this female spirit so many times that he will put his cart full of cleaning supplies and hit wet floor, and he will walk the stairs every single shift. The first time that I came and asked for a book, he said, "You're not using the elevator, right?" And I said, "No, I was going to use the stairs." Why? And he's just like, "Oh, no reason. A couple times he kind of like looked at me weird the second or third time I went to go get a book, because he was probably wondering why I kept coming back and why I didn't really see anything. And I think it's because I was spiritually protected from that. I think the positive out of all of this is that the headstone is still in the boiler room and no one touches it, and it's treated with great respect. The students, the faculty, they honor this entity, and she's kind of like a forever student at Springfield High. I didn't get really a totally bad vibe. I think that this spirit is being recognized and acknowledged in the very least. Alright, witches, well, that about sums up our time for today. Thank you for letting me into your home, and if you want some more paranormal stories, let me know.